Okay, so as I said, we have this basic barbecue sauce. It's got the bourbon, it's got the coffee, and it did get a little thin. So I'm just going to reduce that back down to the original texture, to the original consistency. The barbecue sauce needs to be a little bit thick because that's how it's going to stick to whatever it is you're barbecuing. So I'm just going to put that down on low. Just bring it to a boil, and then when you see it starting to boil, then you just cut the temperature down to a low simmer. I have these peaches cooking here. Wow, they smell really good. You can smell you can smell the sugars in the peaches starting to caramelize, and it's just really getting nice. And then these will cook. You'll see them starting to get a little bit on the soft side. You don't have to really cook them that much, just till they start to get soft and a little bit tender. The acid in the barbecue sauce, the acid from like your lemon and the tomatoes will actually start to break down the peaches when you have it finished. So that's about all you want to do. And I just happen to have a little bit of orange juice left over from breakfast as well. So with our orange juice or coffee, a little bit. And as I mentioned earlier, you can add different types of acid. This is actually another type of acid that I'm going to add to that. We're going to add a little bit of molasses, just a couple ounces of molasses, maybe 2 ounces. And this is the other sweet component. So it's, again, these are really basically sweet and sour sauces. So anything sweet, anything sour goes. And you want to do the same thing with this, because I don't want to put this back on and cook it some more. I just want to, my barbecue sauce is already hot, so I just want to reduce that a little bit so it doesn't thin down the sauce again. You can add shallots, you can add different herbs to this. If you have thyme in your garden, you can add that, rosemary, you know, whatever you find in your garden. Really goes well with barbecue. Anything that you're barbecuing. I'm going to do some really nice country ribs with this later on. Also, I'm going to jar some of this up, give it to my daughter to take to school with her. So you can see how it's getting, the bubbles, as you can see, will start to get bigger. When it's very thin, the bubbles will be very small. And I'm just going to turn this one down again because it started to boil, so I'm just going to bring this down to a simmer. But as you see, when the sauce is very thin, the bubbles will be very small, and as it starts to thicken up, you'll see the bubbles getting bigger. So that's kind of how you can tell the consistency without sticking a fork or your finger or something into it. So this is just about ready, and I'm going to blend this with my basic barbecue sauce. So if we have that basic barbecue sauce, you can go a lot of different directions with this. I have a kaffir lime tree in my backyard. I can add kaffir lime and soy, hoisin or something like that. I can do an Asian style, put a little anise in it. I can do this peach one, which is, we live in Connecticut here. Peaches are great this time of year. Really whatever you have. So I'm going to add this to the basic sauce there. Just give it a quick stir. As you can see, since I reduced that down, it didn't get thin like that bourbon sauce got. And then I will actually have this jar ready to go to school with my daughter. We put it in nice and hot. These jars are cheap. You can get these in, I don't know, you can get them in your grocery store, you can get them in Home Depot, you can get them in you know, some of the big warehouse stores. Very cheap. It does make a great gift though. I mean, this is going to go to my daughter as a gift, but we're going to eat some of this tonight, so don't tell her. And you put it in hot, and it'll actually, as it cools down, it'll make like a vacuum seal. You need to sterilize these. You could throw them in your dishwasher, you know, on the temperature, on the high temperature, and it'll actually sterilize them. And then when you put the top on these, when it's hot, when it actually cools down, it'll contract and it'll make a vacuum. You see it like that, and this will actually pop down like a jar you get out of a grocery store. So when you open it up, you'll hear that pop, and you know that it's been sealed. So I'll let that sit there, and we'll go back to this one here. You can see that's still a little bit on the thin side, so that's probably going to take another 15-20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. Just cook it down till it's the consistency that you want. And then when that's done, I'll jar that up, and that'll go to my brother-in-law. And then I have another really quick one. You can take, I just had some Cajun spice that I had in my pantry. I'll just do a